Alright, hi everybody! Thank you so much for being here on Trans Day of Visibility. As you probably know, this is coinciding with marches and protests that are happening all across the country. I know there are more of 100 of them that were confirmed for today, not even including like school walkouts. So this is a really big day for everyone, and I really appreciate you being out here, especially despite the rain. But I love the rain. I think it proves how cool and strong we are that we're still out here today. So you're all making me very proud, and I appreciate you so much. Let's just cheer for everybody who's here. I really appreciate it. We have a good set of speakers today. They're going to share their perspectives with you. Before we got started, I just wanted to share something that some of my friends and I have worked out here. We're starting an organization called the Blossom Revolutionaries, and I'll talk more about that later. But we do have like a brief statement that we want to make about our beliefs and what we pledge to do. And if you're interested in joining us, we do have these little like scrolled up versions of this. On the back, there's also a QR code for a transgender survival guide that a Chicago resident put together. It's very comprehensive. It's like 40 pages. It's awesome. And then we also have a Google form that you can sign up to join us and like join future actions that we're going to take, organized events that are like this, and will hopefully grow even larger and larger as we keep going. So I'm going to read that to you before we get started with the speeches. All right. And yeah, as you know, we have tarps available. Again, thank you so much for being out here in the rain. So the Blossom Revolutionaries. Our beliefs. Number 1, transgender and cisgender are not a binary. Every person suffers under the enforcement of the gender binary. Connecting any element of self-expression to genitalia is outdated and discriminatory, no matter who the target is. We must end the legal and social enforcement of genitalia-based expectations and prejudices and ensure freedom of self-expression for all. Number 2, the United States has enough resources to feed, house, and care for 100% of the population. These resources are being hoarded by the wealthy. The suffering in this country exists by choice, their choice. And then the third one. Those in power have made it clear that they do not care about our suffering. The actions we take should no longer be asking for help. They should be providing that help. We must repeatedly, loudly celebrate our existence and create networks of support that exist separately from the current systems that oppress us. Number 4, all forms of oppression intersect. No oppressed group can truly be free when another group is still suffering injustices. Our power exists in our unity. And this is our pledge. Number 1, we will enjoy our lives and live as our honest selves. We will walk in the sun. We will support each other and be a voice for those who cannot speak. We will not gatekeep identities or communities. Number 2, we will take direct, repeated actions to dismantle the systems that oppress us. Number 3, any destructive acts we take will not harm human beings. In all acts of civil disobedience, we will ensure the safety of everyone involved. And then we've got a list of some events and actions that people might be taking across the country, and again, the QR code is on the back to fill out that Google form. So yeah, without further ado, we have our first speaker.
Hello, Chicago. My voice is a little hoarse. I hope you can hear me well, but please do listen to my words. Today we face an unprecedented onslaught of vitriol and hate directed at our trans community. State houses across the country are imposing, enacting, and passing legislation to remove trans youth and even trans adults from existence. The Republican Party has waged war on the trans community, seeking to regulate our bodies, block our right to choose or a parent's right to choose for their child, and regulate which bathroom we can use, all under the guise of protecting children. These legislators are playing God, enacting laws that are designed to erase the trans community by taking away our health insurance, our health care, and our right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Today I'm here to share a little about where we are and why there is still hope in a fight worth fighting. The GOP has chosen their next target now that abortion rights have been abolished, and it is the transgender community. This shift from women's rights to trans rights has been something that has been a long time in the making. LGBTQ plus issues have always been a wedge issue for the conservatives to rile up their base to get their voters to turn out in droves to keep GOP leaders in power. GOP uses this tactic to keep themselves in power, touting the success in regulating away those that are different. There is no agenda from the GOP. There is no governance, no budget proposals, and no legislative plan other than infringing on the rights of the marginalized. The GOP across the country seeks to take us back to the 1950s. I say we stand up and take them back to 1969 and the Stonewall riots that made the guise of protecting America's youth is just a cover story to target transgender people. In West Virginia, a law that would have protected children from child marriages was shot down by Republican lawmakers by a vote of 9-8 in committee. They don't care about children being forced into marriage, but they care about a child being placed on puberty blockers to prevent the development of gender characteristics that do not align with the child's gender identity. These proposals are so broadly worded, however, that the use of puberty blockers to prevent early onset puberty in children will also be banned, meaning that children starting puberty at young ages will be forced to go through changes to their bodies that they cannot fully comprehend yet. Personally, I know the pain of being restricted from hormone therapy. In 2005 in Wisconsin, a therapist that I was seeing for nearly a year left the practice but promised to leave my letter recommending hormone therapy with the therapist taking over his cases. This new therapist wanted to be sure that she knew me and knew my struggles before giving me the letter. I agreed to weekly therapy visits, thinking that I'd have my letter within a month. 30 days passed, 90 days, then 6 months went by, and I still did not have my letter, and I still did not have my hormones. I never got a clear explanation as to why this therapist refused to grant me my letter, but I do know that it was the impetus for a very, very dark time in my life. The weaponizing of medical care by restricting and prosecuting physicians is also part of the GOP's legislation. The state houses where anti-trans legislation has passed specifically targets doctors that provide hormone therapy for trans youth, and in some states, trans adults up to the age of 26. In Florida, a proposed bill seeks to ban public and private insurance from covering transgender health care. In Kentucky, Oklahoma, Florida, and other states, doctors are being ordered to detransition transgender children against their and their parents' consent by July or December of this year. These legislators, who have no medical training, knowledge, or experience, are invasively entering the private conversations between families and doctors to protect the child. The question is, who is protecting a transgender child from the bullies in the state house that are taking away their right to exist? Yeah. Forcibly detransitioning someone is earth-shattering and extremely damaging, causing mental anguish, anxiety, and depression. I know this as I was detransitioned at the hands of my former therapist. After my therapist denied my access to hormone therapy for over 18 months, I painfully cut my hair short, threw away most of my wardrobe, and began living as a male-bodied individual. I had no support system that could help me find hope to carry on in my journey. I sunk into a deep depression and found new lows, lower than I ever thought was possible. I relegated to the fact that my life was to be lived for everyone else's expectations and not my own. I lost hope for a brighter tomorrow. In May of 2019, after nearly 10 years of living in the wrong body with no support, I found a community here in Chicago, and I restarted my transition journey. I started hormones at the end of May of 2019, and it was the most liberating experience of my life. In December of 2018, I married my partner of 8 years in my correct body. I worked and I struggled through the transition process, facing many hurdles along the way, as well as many denials. Due to my size, I was denied surgical transition by 6 different doctors before I finally met a surgeon here at the University of Chicago who said yes. On April 26th of 2022, I finally achieved my transition goals and had gender-confirming surgery. Transgender lives of any age are beautiful and special, and today we need your help. We are under attack and the constant threat of GOP lawmakers seeking to take away our rights to exist. We need to stand up, all LGBTQ plus people, allies, friends, and loved ones, and fight back against this legislative hate that seeks to erase us. We must show that we will not take these attacks and that we will fight back in a vocal and visible way. Together, we need to show that every trans life lost to murder, suicide, or forced detransition is a life that is meaningful, special, and valued. We cannot stand by and watch the rights of trans minority, of the greater LGBTQ minority be taken. LGBTQ community, I call upon you to once again join us as you did Martha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera back in 1969 and fight for our existence. Today is National Transgender Visibility Day, and while we celebrate our lives and our freedoms that we have here in Chicago, it is time for us to stand as a nation and collectively say, trans lives matter. As a call to action, I call upon all of you to share your voice and call state houses across the country and say that you oppose legislation and support trans lives. If you are a transgender adult, share your story of transition, as I have with all of you today, and create more visibility for trans lives. Stand with our youth, because we have fought this fight before, like we did in 1969 at Stonewall, and again in 2015 for marriage equality. We will not stop until federal protections for transgender access to health care are in place. We will fight with our young people. We will listen to their fears. We will wipe away their tears, because our trans youth are not alone. We see you, we hear you, and we love you. Your life is important, and we will do everything we can to make sure that your right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is protected. Thank you.
Hello, ladies and gents. My name is Bree. I'm going to do my best to speak over the rain here. You don't know me, but I'm going to give you a little bit about my family's history, just so that you guys can use it to perhaps inspire your journey as it has mine. Does anybody in the crowd speak any German? So my family background, the last place my family lived before the United States was a country called Austria. And if you ever look at a map of the world and it's printed in German, you'll see Deutschland, and then you'll see just to the east of it, Österreich, other Reich, other kingdom. Because for the duration of Austria's existence, it has existed as the other German kingdom. And the reason that I bring that up is because we are seeing the same arguments that were used to destroy part of my family in the 1930s before we came to the United States, put into place in the United States to destroy us now. And I say that with no equivocation. I say that to you. This is how it happened. When my family was rounded up and sent to gas chambers, unequivocally it was by the Nazis, but at the behest of the German government, Every Nazi belt buckle bore an inscription that many people overlook in today's society that you need to know. Every Nazi belt buckle bore the inscription Gott mit uns, which means God is with us. If the only argument that you can make for the imprisonment or the denial of somebody's rights or the restriction of somebody's freedoms is that your religion justifies it, you need to find a new religion. You need to find a new God to worship. I don't care which one it is. There are many imaginary friends that you can devote your life to. But that imaginary friend is not going to dictate how I live my life. And I will peaceably live amongst you as you go to church, as you go to synagogue, as you go to a mosque. But the second you start to utilize your beliefs to take my rights away, you will no longer have my peaceful compliance. You will no longer have my consent to live amongst you in peace. And what I mean by that is not be violent. I mean to be very clear on this. You will hear my voice every time you open up Facebook or a newspaper or click on a YouTube tutorial about a trans person. You will hear me calling you out for either tacitly or explicitly supporting a genocide. You will hear me question you when you walk into a place that preaches hatred, that preaches that our rights should be taken away. And I want to very specifically give you guys another specifically German word in reference to this. I'm not in any way saying that everybody who does not support trans rights is a Nazi, don't get me wrong. But there are many that are finding themselves in that area of overlap, either justifiably or selectively in today's society, and that's terrifying. But the term TERF comes up from time to time, trans-exclusionary radical feminist. And I don't think that it is a term that is appropriate in today's society because it has been adopted as some sort of sick badge of honor. In the camps, we had a term for Jews who participated and worked with the Germans. We had a term for those who would voluntarily enslave other Jews, and that is capo. Do not call somebody a trans-exclusionary radical feminist. Call them what they are. You are a goddamn collaborator. You are a capo. You would turn over the safety and security of those who are in your community as a means to give yourself a modicum of privilege. And then once we are wiped out, and once there's no more use for the capos, you know damn well that they're going to be coming after you too.
Yeah.
So I'll leave you with this. I know I've been speaking a lot about the concept of Austria and Germany and Nazis. I'll give you a quote, and I apologize because I'm not reading it, so this is largely from memory, but one of the most endearing things in reference to both my suffering as a Jewish person and as a trans person and as somebody who basically sees the evil in the world and despairs, Mohandas Gandhi said, whenever I despair, I think to myself, the way of love and light has always won. There's going to be tyrants and there's going to be murderers, and for a time they may seem that they are invincible, but in time they will fall away. The reason that we have rallies like this and protest of legislation is we are in the final stages of a battle between good and evil. The only reason that they are legislating against us now is because they are afraid of us. And ladies and gentlemen, that puts us in a very powerful position because there's going to be a lot of people holding microphones in front of your faces over the next couple of weeks, months, and years. Don't back away. Speak out, speak up, and speak defiantly in the face of oppression and genocide. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Stevens. My pronouns are she, her. I am a queer pastor who serves a church, Holy Covenant United Methodist Church in Lakeview East, Lincoln Park neighborhood here in Chicago. My main reason for speaking today is so that we get rid of this hate language that we are hearing from individuals who want to use God as their reason to harm human beings, to harm our transgender siblings. I am here to tell you that you are loved, known, and seen for exactly who you are right now in this very moment. You are sacred, and no one can take that from you. I have put out some things that have gotten some, not very good response, because I have said God is transgender. God is non-binary. Because God, we are made in the image of God. And if we are made in the image of God, then God is female, male, spirit, both and all of it, including. I stand here to say that there are more people of faith that love you, that support you, that are standing with you, that are you, than there are those that are hate. They may feel like it might look like there's more of them. It just means that we have to get louder.
Yeah!
We have to be louder. We have to have our love louder than their hate. We must stand up and fight back. With all that we have, we will not be silent. You can tear our signs down. You can take legislation and government, but we will not stop. We will continue to be here with you and for you. Thank you.
Hey y'all, I think I'm the last speaker, yes? Yeah. And we'll get close up, so I'll be brief. My name is Betty Alzamora. My pronouns are she, her, ella. I'm a community activist and an organizer, and a proud member of the board of directors of Indivisible Chicago Alliance. And at Indivisible Chicago, we advocate chiefly for democracy. We advocate on behalf of progressive policies and elected officials that espouse those policies. And we advocate for the issues that are really deep and near to our hearts. So on this day, I can tell you all of Indivisible Chicago stands proud with all of us that identify as trans, as queer, as LGBTQ+. These issues are important and they matter to us all. On this Transgender Day of Visibility, I can tell you that I, as a queer woman of color, I'm here because I am proud. I am proud of my LGBTQ+ siblings. All of you that are here on this really wet, cloudy day where we are, I guess, under tornado watch. I'm here because of all the people that brought me here today. I stand with you. Because after last summer, after the Supreme Court Dobbs decision, so you've heard some of the speakers right now, they've said it. We have seen so many actions designed that, to curtail our own bodily autonomy, our own right to live our lives as fully and authentically as we wish them to be, our rights to love whomever we wish to love. Here's the thing, as of this morning, the Advocate Legislative Tracker showed that there were 462 bills nationwide that are designed to be anti-trans and anti-LGBTQ. 462, and that number continues to grow. We are an island surrounded by states where the rights of our community are being embattled every single day. So Missouri, Iowa, and other places. I mean, we're fortunate to live in Illinois, but let's not become complacent. In Illinois, we also have 3 pretty important anti-trans bills that are going through the legislature. We got to stay aware, we got to stay mindful, and we got to stay engaged. So again, I don't want to keep you all from here. So if I would say, as a community activist, I come to these events because there's calls to action. And the one that we would ask for you all to consider is to join us at Indivisible Chicago Alliance. Find us at indivisiblechicago.com. Join our mailing list. It's not that we just show you, we're not just going to be posting on social media and shooting you daily action emails. Those are important, but we show up with our community. We show up at events like today with all of you. We organize protests, we march, we have been not just in Chicago but in other places. My dear friend Kim, who's here today as well, she and I have worked as safety marshals across a lot of these rallies and protests, and so we would welcome all of you to join us. So please join our mailing list. Come find me later if you want my email, or hell, I'll just give it to you, Betty at indivisiblechicago.com. Contact us. We would be honored and proud to stand alongside organizing other things, and believe me, you are the kind of people I would want to be co-conspirators with. Now, I don't pretend to have the answers for all of us, LGBTQ siblings, my family. I don't have the answers, and I think we're about to blow away over there in any case. But I will tell you this, the one thing I know to be true, fundamentally truth, is that we are all unique, we are all beautiful. You've heard these folks speak just now. It's just so incredible, and I want you all to know you are seen, you are loved, and we are all holding each other in our hearts.
Fuck yeah!
It is through love, like the pastor here said, it is through love. Love is love is love. It's the intentional action of love. It is the intentional hopes that we carry. These are the things that are going to move us forward towards justice. My friends, the people have the power. You have the power. And I'm going to tell you, it is the last day of March. It is wet, it is cold, it is windy, but we say it in every single place that we go to. It is always, always, always a beautiful day for a protest. I love you all. Thank you for having me.
Oh boy. Here, let me. I just got a text asking me to help remove pornographic content from schools. So.
Boo!
Thank you. All right, hello. I'm so incredibly pleased to see you all here today. Thank you for coming despite the weather. We're going to have one more speaker after me, our own Beth Hartwell, who we adore. And then if anyone else wants to come up and say anything, you don't have to be rehearsed. You would be more than welcome. We would love to have you. At any rate, I'll introduce myself. Hello, my name is Florence. I'm here for the same reason most of you are here, and that's fear. Fear is what brought us together today, but not our fear. I am afraid, but I don't live in Tennessee, I don't live in Florida, I live in Chicago, so mostly what I get to be is angry. And I am angry. I'm angry because the majority of people in this country simply refuse to care about what's happening to our community. A significant portion of this country's government is pushing for the total eradication of the trans community, and it's being met, as atrocity and genocide often is, with apathy. I'm angry because a generation of children is going to be taught to feel shame and fear about who they are, the way so many of us were taught to, and they're not going to have a way out. And so many people are going to die because of it, and they're dying now. Our government is criminalizing anyone who shows any sympathy to trans people, children especially. Teachers, doctors, therapists, all their tools to help us are being taken away. Our government wants to deny us care, wants to ban any mention of gender and sexual diversity from schools, race as well, let's not forget, and teach shame and fear in their place. And that's the fear I'm talking about. That's the reason we are where we are. Our nation is built on fear. The continued function of our nation relies on fear. Fear of those we think are below us. Poor folks, black folks, queer folks, people are afraid of us because they know we are just like them. And they are terrified to acknowledge what they've done to people who are just like them. They're afraid of the way they make us live. Look at the way we treat homeless people in this country, trying to legislate them out of existence, making it illegal for them to stand, to speak, to sleep. and they think they can do the same to us, that they can make us disappear. And the louder we ask them for help and support and compassion, the more the most privileged people in this nation want us to disappear. And it's because they're afraid. They're afraid of the freedom that we represent. They hate the idea of a world where we are freer than they are.
That's true!
They're afraid of a society where their children can live without the shackles of gender conformity they've lived under their whole lives. The chains that are fundamental to their way of life. And that's who we are fighting against. A nation of adults who are terrified of their own children. So I say it's time to listen to the fears of our oppressors, and it's time to deliver on those fears.
Yeah!
We will redefine gender. We will liberate trans children with education and with gender-affirming care, and no matter how much they try to make us disappear, we never will. We can't. We're already here in schools, in businesses, in homes. Chicago, we have to take our rights back by force. We have to support each other, to trust each other, to support our friends in Indiana and Missouri and Texas and Florida and everywhere else. We cannot allow ourselves to be governed by a nation that wants to govern us out of existence. Our trans siblings are in need. They're in need of health care, of money, of refuge, of counsel, of any supportive action we can afford them. Fear is what's killing us. So we can't be afraid to help each other and to fight for each other, and we will win.
Hi, everybody. Okay. Thank you all so much for being out here despite the weather. It means so much. Oh, okay. Got mud on my hands. Alright. Hello. My name is Buford Marigold Hardwell, and I find great delight in being myself. For many years I lived in misery. Because of my genitalia, I was forced into a role that I did not want to play. My life changed for the better when I made the choice to express myself more authentically. Whenever someone calls me by my name, I feel delight where I used to feel discomfort. When I get dressed in the morning, I feel excitement instead of hopelessness. The joy I feel being able to be honest with the people around me convinced me that my life is worth living. According to more than 385 pieces of legislation being proposed and passed in this country, my joy is criminal. Our joy is criminal. Our clothing, our makeup, and our hair are criminal. The very mention of our names, our histories, our existence is criminal. So what does it mean when we keep existing, when we thrive? It means we are liberating ourselves not only from individual pieces of legislation, but from a system designed to keep us complacent and miserable. It means we have already begun to take revolutionary actions. We are criminals. The United States has labeled us criminals. The parents who love and accept their children instead of forcing them into hiding are criminals. The drag performers who fill our world with beauty and bravery are criminals. Anyone who doesn't fit into a tiny, nonsensical box is a criminal. We are criminals, and it is time to embrace that label. We are calling for a perpetual, nationwide celebration of our honest selves, a joyful revolution. Our belief is that laws are supposed to serve the people. This country is supposed to represent and serve the people. When that social contract is broken, we must not continue blindly upholding our side. Time and time again, we have been showed that this is not our country. We can no longer pretend to be beholden to its withering, soulless laws. Yesterday, I attended a rally for the progressive mayoral candidate Brandon Johnson. Bernie Sanders was a guest speaker. A series of speeches were made, all of which emphasized unity. They discussed long lists of oppressed groups. The LGBT community was not mentioned a single time. We are living in terror, and yet we were not mentioned a single time. If you believe that voting alone will liberate us, you have much to learn about queer history. Each important step has been made not through complacency with oppressive systems, but by actively fighting against them. This is not just a call for those who publicly identify as queer. This is a call for anyone who is tired of the shame, despair, and loss of life that go hand in hand with the perpetuation and enforcement of capitalism and the gender binary. You must take repeated, direct actions in order to liberate yourself and your community. You personally can identify the systems and corporations that oppress us, target their property, and destroy it. You can openly challenge the ideas and prejudices that hold us down in a way that nobody can ignore. The people who cower now will be cowards their whole lives, until they are shown that this revolution is a celebration. I am telling you to fill the streets with your joy. Cover buildings in your joy. Take over towns with your joy. Gather your friends, make a plan, and execute that plan. Always take precautions to ensure that you do not hurt any human beings. But power does not just exist in people. It exists in their money, their land, their buildings, their data, and their businesses. Most importantly, you must take delight in these revolutionary acts. Joy is the fire that they are always trying to put out. Joy is the unity that they are always trying to tear apart. Joy is the solidarity that they are always trying to weaken. There is no such thing as a law that only targets transgender people. These laws restrict the expression, honesty, and joy of every living person in the United States. We must stop gatekeeping communities, restricting identities, and using language that only centers our own suffering. The rich and powerful do not care about our suffering. Pity will not motivate them to change our world, just like pity has failed to motivate them to repair the injustices that have defined this country since its creation. Our speeches, our testimonies, our signs, our protests, and our riots should no longer be pleas to be heard. They should be the answer to those pleas. We already exist and we are already powerful. Now is the time to prove it. Our joy is undeniable. Our joy is contagious. Our joy is criminal. It always has been and it always will be. To be labeled a criminal under the oppression of this government is an honor. I wear the label of criminal proudly, just like I wear the label of transgender proudly. Both labels exist only as classifications within made-up systems, and the same systems that we create and perpetuate, we can destroy. If anyone else would like to come up and speak, the mic is now open.
I just wanted to say, bullying representatives online is free. They've got email, they've got Twitter, they've got phone numbers and names. You can just call them. If you want to. You can email them relentlessly if you want to. It's free. Bullying on TikTok. That too. That also works. Make sure no social media platform is safe. Call them like 20 times in a day. See if they listen. That's all. Peace.
Lawrence and I are going to come around and hand out some our lots of revolutionary scrolls that have the QR codes on the back that I mentioned earlier. So we'll be doing that while people can speak.
Hi, my name is Neff. I just wanted to say that all the speakers that spoke about their transition stories today, it was really beautiful and inspiring. And I wanted to just say that I have been living my life in fear a lot recently. I'm not out to my family, so, you know, they see this, hey. And I've been thinking a lot about detransitioning because I feel like it would be easier, but seeing everybody come together and that we do exist. We are here. They can't take us away. They can't take this community away. They can't take away my right to change and be who I want to be. That's just, yeah, I don't know what to say. That's all I wanted to say.
Ladies, gentlemen, others, my name is Dante. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And it may not look like that, and I've just come to realize that pretty recently. Sorry if this seems so. I didn't even know I was gonna talk at this thing, so I just felt like I got it. I always thought I was a little different growing up, and I grew up in Woodstock, Illinois. If you know what that town is, boo. Very, very conservative little town filled with hate. And I grew up with, there wasn't a lot of, you're nodding, you know, you get it. A lot of the only people that I had to, like, growing up to hang out with were just, to put it simply, just bad people. And when you're the only mixed person growing up, when you're the only mixed person in a town full of that, you know, you don't really have much choice other than to just be the butt of the joke in most cases. And, you know, double that when you don't think you're heterosexual, then you're kind of fucked. Around, I want to say, like, middle school, not middle school, yeah, like early high school, I came out to one of my friends, who I'm still not brave enough to say the name of it, but, you know, one day I will. And he told me, you know, because he already knew I wasn't straight. Everyone knew. Got made fun of it a lot. And he told me, you know, I was, and I quote, I was fine with the whole bi thing, but this is a little, that's a little dumb. And then he cut me off completely. And thanks for booing. Ever since then, I'm sorry if I'm boring you with this story. When that happened, I just decided, you know what? Maybe I'm not trans. I want people to like me. I want to, like, have friends and stuff. So for a very long time, I was a trans man, and growing up in that small town, like, you know, there was a really big vendetta against anything to do with LGBTQIA plus people and all that. So I naturally grew up in that environment thinking, oh, you know, just all the negative stereotypes. And coming here, there was that little bit of, okay, I still thought that for a little bit. Then these people, without, like, preaching to me or anything, just being themselves and teaching me, like, what it is and everything, just really opened my eyes and made me realize, you know, I remembered, holy shit, I remembered the things Sean said and what I did and all that stuff, and it made me realize just, shit's crazy. Just made me thanks. Oh, hi Jeremy. I didn't see that. It just made me realize that shit's kind of crazy, you know? And after spending time with them, hanging out with them, it helped me realize my identity, my respect for this community. Even though this community does not get a lick of respect at all, it's just, I'm looking at all you smile and all the wonderful speakers we had today. Oh my God, let's give another round for the speakers. I was saying, it just made me realize who I am and how proud I am to be in this community. Walking here, one of my friends was like, you know, kind of like, oh, I'm going to the protesting that's happening today. And they were just like, you know, that's not going to change anything, yada yada. And I just thought about, like, you know what? It will change something. And god damn it, let's just have fun either way. You know what? Be gay, do crime, be like divine. Woo!
Hi, I'm wearing a mask because I have a cold, not because I'm hiding. But my name is Hillary. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm also a mom to a little 2-year-old. And I just look out at all of you here, and you know, we all have complicated relationships with our family, but I imagine that a lot of us don't talk to them anymore. And so as a parent, I look at you, and you deserve to be here, and to be loud, and to be messy, and to be sad, and to be angry, and to go home, and to cry on the couch, and have soup with your family, and write Christmas cards or whatever holiday it is. You deserve that, no matter what. And you don't have to be a token member of the queer community. You just have to be yourself. Because literally, we would not have music without you. We would not have art without you. We wouldn't have these incredible things that give us the motivation to live without who you are and what you are and the things that you believe in. And I'm recently out, and so I've been learning a lot about the queer community in the last year. And it's getting loud and rainy. Even watching you all hold the tart up here, I wish I could paint it because it's just so incredible to see all the fierceness of all of you here today. And I was reading a Mary Oliver poem as I was listening to all the speakers at the end of Wild Beast. She says, to declare over and over and over your place in the family of things. So be loud. Say it over and over and over. Trans rights are human rights. You deserve to be here. You matter. You are real. You know yourself. And queer family, queer joy is what matters. I love you all and thank you for having me.
Hello, everyone. I'd like to ask you all to look around. It's not great out. There's a fog covering the whole skyline over there. There's people holding down this tarp. It's wet. It's cold. It's windy. This is held together via duct tape. All of these are all reminders that we are not here because it is convenient, but because it is necessary. And as I was here, I was thinking about those who try to who act in the name of Jesus against trans people. And I'd like to ask you all. I'm not that religious myself. I don't know about you all, but did Jesus stand with the white upper class, bourgeoisie, or did he stand with common people, with disabled, with prostitutes? He stood for interests outside of what was deemed to be right in his time. So I'd like to just say right now that to any lawmaker, anyone in the House, anyone in the Senate, any position of power that is trying to enact an anti-trans bill in the name of Jesus, you are a coward. You are an intense coward pretending to be a man of God. Thank you all very much.
Hi, my name is Nico Rogue. I'm married to the first speaker. And I came out a little bit before her as non-binary, and I didn't completely know what it meant, so I went through the full gamut of what it was supposed to mean. I had to be androgynous, I had to wear makeup every day, and then I realized that's really hard with my job. And I can dress however the hell I want, I can present however the hell I want, use whatever pronouns I feel comfortable using. And then my wife came out as trans, and I took a step back and realized I needed to give her the space, but then she stopped me and she's like, no, let's go forward together. And I think that's why we're all here, because we're gonna go forward together. We love all of you. You are seen. We will do what we can to protect the youth in our community, because we've gotten the pleasure to grow up and be adults in this community, so we will always be there for you. We will always love you.